Well, today at Get Crafty, we are going to do some watercolor painting. And it's really interesting because we're going to use some tape with that. It'll make a really great, fun effect. So all you need today is some tape, maybe some scissors, some watercolor paints, or if you have liquid watercolor paints, that's fine too, or even food coloring. So I have some little liquid watercolor paint in some containers here that I'm going to use. And of course you're going to need some rinse water for your brushes when you change colors, and sort of a variety of brushes depending on how much paint you're going to spread. I've got some fat ones, I got a skinny one, and I have a foam one to cover my paper really fast. So let's get started. I'm going to change the camera to a screen so you can see what I'm working on the table. Here we go. Okay, so I've got a big piece of paper. Any white paper will do. Some papers suck up the watercolor or absorb the watercolor more, and so you'll get a little different effect. This happens to be some really kind of smooth paper, so let's see what happens. So, like I said, we're going to do tape resist watercolor painting. That's what this is called. So I'm going to take some tape and I'm just going to make some designs on my paper. So rip off a piece of tape and put it in any angle that I like right across my paper. And I'm not doing a specific picture or anything right now. I'm just doing a design. So here's another piece of paper, and you're going to see what happens when we paint over this tape. I'm just ripping off, long pieces of tape and sticking it all over my paper. But you can rip off a short piece of tape too if you want to decide to make maybe a triangle, like right there. Yay! Okay, so another long piece, maybe over in this direction. Or, I'm making a lot of angles, but if you want to, you could make some stripes. So let's me do a stripey one over here. Okay, can't quite get that going. And then you can decide what you like to do. So I'm going to do a little short one and cut my striping pieces. What will happen when we paint over that? That's going to be the exciting thing to find out. So there, I'm doing another piece there. And let's do another piece way across here and see what that turns out to be like. Wow, woo, that's kind of cool. I really like my design here right now. Do a little corner over there. Okay, well, one more. Just because I kind of like the way it looks when I crisscross things over here. Okay, so now it's time to get started with the paint. I've used my tape, and I'm going to put my rinse water right over here so it's handy. And I am going to start with my watercolors right there. Okay, and the first thing I like to do with watercolors is kind of get them wet so I can work with them really well. So I am just like taking some water from my rinse water and getting them kind of wet. That always helps, so that when I brush, they'll just be kind of splashy and ready to go. Okay, so what colors you decide to use is up to you, and that's the fun part. You get to pick. All right, well, of course, a lot of times my favorite color is red, so I am going to get a little bit of red on my brush and paint some red in one of the triangles that I made. Now that kind of turned out a little bit lighter than I thought, so I'm going to put some more red in there. There we go. And let's see, oh, I think I need some blue. So I'm going to paint some blue in this this square. Looks a little bit like a kite, actually, and a little bit darker over the top of that. Swirl that around. There we go. So you get the idea of what we're doing here. How about some orange? All right, orange. Oh, that's a nice bright color. I do like that. Okay, and I'm rinsing in between a little bit of green. I'm rinsing my brush in between each section that I paint, so it'll give me a good color. I just did green over here. Let's see. How about some yellow? That's over here. I'm getting there. I'm painting all my squares. And I really like the blue colors and the bright colors, but I've got some really dark purple that I'm painting. And it's okay to paint onto the tape because that's what the tape resist actually means. If you paint over the tape, it resists the watercolor and it doesn't get on the paper. You're going to see what happens here in a minute. Okay, so I got purple. Oh, do I have all my colors? No, I don't have brown yet. So we're doing brown over here. And then we're going to do some black. Ooh, black. Woo-wee. I don't know if I want a whole, yeah, black's cool. We're going to do a whole big bunch of black. I didn't want it to be too dark, but it's turning out more gray than black because water kind of waters things down. And ooh, I got it darker, and I'm swirling some paint around on that. Ooh, I like it. Do, 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 do. And you can go back and forth. You can smooth it out. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm getting there. Let's see. I like green. So this one right here is going to be green. And now I'm going to change my paints because some of you may be using food coloring or liquid watercoloring or liquid watercolor. And let's see what kind of effect we get when we use that with tape resist. So I'm going to switch my paints. It's still watercolor, but it's a little bit different. So I am going to use my paints like this because I've got some yellow, I think, right here. Nope, it's orange. Whoa, it's a little brighter. It's a little waterier. It spreads just a little bit more. Ta-da-da-da-da. Okay, I think we need some red. So these colors are a little bit more concentrated, and that's what will happen, especially if you use, whoa, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Food coloring. I wanted red. There we go. Whoa, that is really concentrated. I'll do another one of those over here in my corner. Okay, so I'm rinsing. Now let's see what happens when I do green from my liquid watercolor or food coloring. I'm going to do that right here. Whoa, oh, my brush got a little brown. I think my rinse water is getting a little bit messed up, but that's okay. Let's see, how about some blue? Oh, yeah. It is a little darker. That's kind of cool. And one more green. This is a different color green. This is more of a lime green than this other green here. There we go. So I did the whole thing, and I've made a few little puddles. Once I got out the liquid watercolor, I made a big old puddle. See that? So for this to turn out pretty good, I'm going to use a little paper towel, and I'm just going to dab my puddle because I don't want to make a huge mess. I still want all that bright, pretty color, but I don't want a puddle to drip all over the place. So I'm going to look for some puddles that I can take care of here and there. And I'm going to pull off the tape in just a second, and we'll see what you got. Now everybody's is going to be a little bit different depending on where you put the tape and depending on how your paper absorbed or sucked up the color. So, well, isn't that cool? I think that's an artwork itself. Woo-wee. All right, so let's take off the tape and see what we got. It really is kind of an outstanding kind of way to paint. Here we go. And it's best to take off the tape when the paint is still kind of wet, because when it gets dry, the tape just kind of sticks. Now look what's happening. Isn't that cool? I am pulling off the tape kind of slowly here because it's stuck to itself. Whoa. And look what we got. We're getting a painting called Tape Resist. let's take off this tape. Let's see if we can get it going here. And this one, some of these are connected to each other, so I'm having a, there we go. Whoa, that one's connected. Yep. Oh, nice sharp corners. I like that. And off it goes. So it's stuck to my table too. And you're going to find, if you're working on a kitchen counter or something, that would probably be the best. There we go. There we go. Check it out. Oh, I really like the way that turned out. So everywhere you put a piece of tape, it resisted the watercolor paint, and you got triangles and stripes and all kinds of fun things. There we go. So that's one way to do it, and I'm going to put this aside because we're going to do another one. We are going to do that's sort of like a design. So next we're going to do a picture. And I think, what should I draw a picture of today with tape? Because again, we're going to use tape resist. Well, I decided that I'm going to do some birch trees. So birch trees are tall, and I'm going to put a piece of tape down here for a birch tree. And then I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to do something a little bit different with it. I'm going to try to tear it. What will happen when I try to tear this tape? Whoa! I've got a branch. And I'm going to tear the tape again. Oh, I got a little branch. Okay, there we go. I think that's enough branches for that one tree. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to do another. And I'm going to put this at an angle because nothing's ever really ever exactly straight up and down. So there's my second tree. And then I'm going to do another tree that's maybe at a little slightly different angle up to the top of my paper. Okay, and one more. There we go. So can you imagine that these might be birch trees in a minute or two? I think I can. I think I'm going to do some more branches with my tape tearing and see what we get. I'm taping and tearing. Whoa, that's a cool one. Let's see where I could put that. Oh, that's a good one right there. And I think, ooh, this is a pretty fat one. I'm almost down to where I can't tear this piece of tape anymore. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's a good short one. I like that. So you can arrange the tree branches on your paper wherever you want. Let's see. Maybe that's just a skinny tree. Yeah, that's just a skinny tree right there. Cool, 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 cool. So it's a little forest of birch trees. So I'm going to make sure that my tape's all taped down. And so there's a couple of different effects that you can use. And I'm going to use my my watercolor paints because they're so bright, my liquid ones. And I'm going to use my rinse water, which is kind of turning muddy, but it's all right. I'm going to do a green forest background behind this one. So I'm going to use two different colors of green. A little bit of green here. And I'm going to do some painting in between my birch trees. It's going to be a green forest. What's going to happen? What will this look like? Now you could do a winter scene with this too. You could do sort of purple or blue back behind there, and then it would look kind of cold and icy. But I'm doing green because I think summer is fun. Birch trees in summer. Okay, so there is my forest. And you can always add a little bit of blue color to your green. Then you get a deeper color. You can put that in your forest. See that? Pretty cool. I love that. Okay, so I'll put my watercolor paints down and I'm going to get out my paper towel again and suck up my puddles because I did make more puddles. Puddles of paint. Okay, so there we go. Aha! So now I don't have any puddles drooling all over. Okay, it's time to take off the paint. So first I'm going to take off a branch. Ooh, cool. And then I'm going to take off one of the trunks. Oh, sweet. And another one. There goes that branch. So you take them all off. Oh, wow, this is looking good. All right, so one by one, you pull off the tape. Oh, and the branch came right along with that one when I pulled it. Let's see if that will happen again when I do this one. Oh, summer birch trees. I love it. So if you're out in the woods and you see birch trees, you know that their bark isn't completely white. What's it got on it? A few kind of black marks. So if you got a marker, you can now take, let's see, I need a dark marker. So I've got a whole basket of markers. I'm going to take a black one and I'm going to put some birch bark marks on birch trees that I painted. So I'm just going to do it like right here and here, wherever I think it would look good. And you can decide. See how it's starting to look like a birch bark tree? There we go. A few of them here and a few of them there. Hey, it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go along all along the rest of my birch trees and do that kind of thing. Little squiggles, little lines. Oh, it's looking good. All right, some more over here. And I'm almost done. Now, it doesn't have to be birch trees. You could do lines to make it look like bark on an oak tree or a maple tree, and that's what that might look like over there. Very cool. So there's my birch tree painting. Kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to set that one aside. And, well, what else can we do? I think it would be fun to write my name on a piece of paper. So I'm going to get out, I probably don't have enough room for my whole name on this little piece of paper. So I'm going to do a big A for my initials because my name is Anne. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to put a big A on this piece of paper. So you can draw your initials with tape. And if you have a big piece of paper, you can do your whole name. But I'm just going to do my initial. Okay, there we go. Is it starting to look like an A for Anne? I hope so. So there we go, right across. Ta-da! A for Anne. Now, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to use my paints in my tray again because they have some rainbow colors. You know, I really love rainbows. And I think I want on my initial paper, I want a rainbow. So I'm going to get my water out here so I can make it nice and juicy. And I'm going to start with red at the top because I'm going to do a rainbow over my name. Let's see. There we go. Starting with red. What a darker. There we go. Then next in the rainbow is probably orange. So I'm going to do orange across that A. All right. And then I'm really going to get my brush a little bit clear because yellow takes up a lot of the other colors. And my rinse water is getting a little dark. I want a pretty yellow. There we go. Oh, I did. I got a pretty yellow. I'm happy. And they'll mix a little bit together sometimes when you're doing this. And then green is next. And I'm going to make a big bunch of green across my letter A. And then blue. Blue, blue, blue. Whoops, my blue isn't very good. Let's get a deeper, darker blue. And I'm going to end my rainbow. Oops. Uh-oh. With purple, right? Purple, purple, purple. That's the darkest. Wow, check that out. Okay, so I got a great looking rainbow here. Now, the light in this room is not showing up the yellow, but there we go. How about that? Okay, so it's puddle dabbing time. And I'm going to get out my paper towel and dab up the puddles. Just like that. Oh, it took out some of my purple. I want more purple. There we go. There. That won't make too much of a puddle. There we go. All right, so now it's time to take off the tape. And we're going to see your name or your initial underneath the tape. Tape resist. No paint could get under there. And so it leaves the white mark. And there you go. The letter A. Ta-da! Very good. So that's really fun. And then you can put that on your refrigerator or on a wall in your room and have a fun rainbow with your name on it. I'm going to set that aside because I got one more fun thing to do before we stop. And I have another piece of paper. And I decided it might be fun to do a tape resist on a shape. So I'm going to make a heart. So to make a heart, you take and fold your paper, increase it, but just lightly. And then you take your scissors, and where there's the fold in the paper, you can cut a half a heart. A nice, big half a heart. Or you could do any shape. You could do it an egg. You could do, actually, any shape that you can imagine or draw, you could do. But I decided to do a heart, which is pretty easy. Open it up. And yep, I got a heart. Okay, so now I got my heart. Let's do some crazy taping. Now this is a little smaller, so I don't know if I want a big hunkin' fat piece of tape. We're gonna do that tape tearing thing. Or if you really want to try it, you can try to cut it. But it's gonna stick to your scissors a little bit, so it's a little hard, but you can try it. I just cut a nice straight piece right there. So I'm gonna start with that. But tape is notorious for sticking to scissors, so if you just want to tear it, you'll get some fun shapes. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm gonna do a design on my heart with the tape that I got. And I'm just gonna keep cutting because I'm having pretty good luck with it not sticking to my scissors too bad. Oh, but you know what? I just messed up there. It tore. Instead of cutting, it tore. Whoops. Ah! That's okay. So you can work with it. And if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you like it the first time, you can do another one. That's my favorite part about art. If you don't like it, throw it in the trash can, do another one until you like what you did. Okay, now here's a fat piece. I do like fat pieces. We're going to do one fat piece. All right, so I'm starting to build another design on my heart. And maybe I just want some kind of funky fat pieces. No, I'm going to cut that one in half. I like that. So the fun about this is you can decide what you want it to look like. There's a piece I just cut and teared. And a skinny piece here. And maybe two more skinny pieces over here. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. There. That's going to look cool. So I'm going to, let's see. No, I didn't use my big brush like this. So that's what I think I'm going to do with my watercolor paints, or if you have food coloring, you can do that. My liquid watercolor. So I am going to cover this really fast. This is red. Let's see what happens. You know, red is for hearts. I am doing some swirlies and rinsing it out a little bit. And let's do some purple. Purple swirlies. Ah! And around the edge. Uh-oh, I covered up my red. And each time I change color, I'm rinsing it out a little bit. And a little bit of, I'm just going to do some green dots. So I got some green going on here. Okay, did I miss any spots? It's turning to brown a little bit when I hit the purple. But anyway, so sucking up my puddles. Wow, I think that's going to be really neat. So off goes the tape. Oh, sweet. This is my favorite part. When I'm all done painting and I start pulling off the tape, then you get to see kind of what it looks like. And that's how did it turn out this time? And oops, I think I've got too much paint on one spot because it kind of bled. And that'll happen sometimes. But it still looks really cool. Tape resist watercolor painting. Oops, I pulled off some of the water, the surface. I really soaked this one up. This one got really wet. Okay, so there it is. A really cool heart that you could give to somebody. All right, so that's it for watercolor painting today. I'm going to change the camera back and say goodbye. Hope you had a lot of fun doing this today. I sure did. Because we did hearts and we did, hold on, we did hearts, we did trees, we did a design, and we did a letter or a name. So have fun with this. See you next time.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody that tuned in today, and also thanks to the folks that joined us afterwards watching this video. If you want to join us live and do this live with us, we would love to see you here, so that way we can see what you're painting. If you did paint something really cool and you want to share it with us, feel free to do that. Send it to us. We're on social media. And if you do want to join us live, you can find this program as well as Let's Create a Story, which we do every Thursday at 11 o'clock. And First Step Science, which we do every Friday at 11 o'clock. Those are all online. You can go to greatlakeskids.org and you can click on the offerings. You can see all of the programs that we're doing right there, and there's a button to join us live. We do all of these programs at 11 o'clock, so it's even more fun if you're there with us. If you want to keep this type of programming on the air at a time when we don't have anybody coming to the actual museum, we appreciate any donations that you're able to give. If you want to find more information on that or find a link to donate directly, just go to www.greatlakeskids.org/donate. All that stuff is right there. So again, we hope that you join us, hope to see you soon, and until then, we'll say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.